The Fab Four reunite, and it was awkward. What does it mean? Etiquette expert Elaine Swann helps us break it down.
His body language was as if he wanted to make sure he was protecting his wife. Obviously, they've been through some things, and he's been there to support her.
Plus, Harry and Meghan complete their final engagements as senior members of the royal family.
I know for many of you, your journey is not over. But by keeping this community together, we can do more amazing things at a time when it is so desperately needed.
And Kate gives a rare speech about mental health. We've got that plus so much more in today's Royally Us. Hello to our fellow royal lovers and welcome to Royally Us, where each week we will give you a royal roundup on our favorite family. I'm Christina Garibaldi, and I am joined by royal commentator Carly Ledbetter. Hi, Carly.
Hello. Oh my gosh, I'm still recovering from this week.
Oh my God, there is literally so much to break down. Of course, Carly is from HuffPost and will help me break it all down on the royal beat. So let's get started with a royal roundup of our headlines. And I mean, we have to start with this awkward moment.
We do. It was the awkward moment seen around the world.
Yeah, it really was.
Every camera, every laptop screen.
So Prince William and Duchess Kate barely acknowledged Prince Harry and Meghan Markle at the Commonwealth Day service on March 9th. So here's a little recap of what went down. Take a look. Wow. So, I mean, we were expecting it, but not expecting it at all.
No, we were expecting it, but this was just such a frosty reception. And especially when you know that all eyes are on you, the camera's on you, Harry and Meghan are waving and trying to acknowledge you. You would think that William and Kate would just give them a little bit more.
Yes. We never see the drama of the royals play out in public.
Right.
And this was for all of us to kind of witness and have a front row seat too, because, you know, you see Meghan trying to make the effort, giving that little hi and like the wave and the smile. And just nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I know. And it looked like William briefly looked up and acknowledged them. Kate, not so much.
Not so much at all.
But I think they managed to play it off really well. Again, all of these people are PR pros, which is why, again, you would think that they would give them a little more. But Harry, after that awkward interaction, immediately leaned over to Kate and they started talking, sort of trying to smooth over what had just happened. But I'm honestly still not over it.
Still not over it. And what I think was so maybe funny to me and uncomfortable was that they were turning around and talking to the people behind them.
Right.
Meanwhile, just over his other shoulder is his brother who he hasn't seen in months.
Right, exactly. And we still don't know if they've actually talked to each other behind closed doors. This could have been the first time the four of them had reunited publicly and privately.
Sure,
But you're right, there were only four people behind them, and you see them these two all the time.
Right.
Yeah, and you definitely have enough room to talk to everybody.
Totally,
here.
because at that point, Prince Charles, Duchess Camilla, and the Queen were not in their seats.
No, so there's a limited range of conversation there.
I mean, you definitely could have turned around and said something. But like you said, we don't know if they, had already caught up behind closed doors and they didn't feel the need to, do this grand hello.
Right.
But to the public, we didn't see that.
We didn't. And last year, actually, we did see a really big PDA moment between Kate and Meghan because there was a reported rift between the brothers, which Harry later acknowledged. But Kate made a really big gesture and leaned over to Meghan and gave her a kiss on both cheeks, sort of putting all of those rumors to rest, like, oh, look, public display of affection, everyone's fine, the royal family's fine.
Yeah.
But we did not see that stiff upper lip this time. There was a lot of raw emotion there.
Definitely. And even when they were walking out of the service, they didn't, they were walking behind one another and they did not acknowledge each other either. And they all left separately. And Yeah,
very
it was
icy.
very icy.
We could analyze it all day.
Oh, we
honestly.
definitely. I mean,
for the
we will
next year.
continue to
Yes, we
with
will.
Elaine in a little bit as she kind of breaks down the body language and things like that, which I think is
Right.
going to be very interesting.
It will be.
Yeah. Ooh, can't wait. All right. So now this was the final engagement for Harry and Meghan as senior members of the royal family.
Yes.
But before that, their farewell tour was filled with fabulous fashion, lots of PDA, and some really emotional moments. Take a look.
So I feel incredibly lucky to be able to count myself as one of you, and I'm deeply proud to have served among you as Captain Wales. A lot of you tonight have told me you have my back. Well, I'm also here to tell you I've always got yours.
Yeah, you can definitely see Harry kind of getting almost choked up about this because, you know, he says, I got your back, you have mine.
Right.
And this is, you know, basically his goodbye speech, kind of.
It is, and Harry was in the military for 10 years, so veterans in the military especially is a cause so near and dear to his heart. And you have to imagine that when he steps back from the royal family, he is giving a lot of this up, all of these sort of engagements, and I'm sure that he'll do really great things with the military, with his private charity, but he is having to, you know, step away and not use some of his titles, and yeah, he's giving up all he's ever really known. This is the first time, apart from a gap year in Cape Town, that he is really leaving his family and starting this normal life where will that take him and what will that lead to?
I don't know, because, you know, this is all he's, besides the gap year, this is all he's known. He's used to people screaming his name, used to people taking his photo, used to going to these charity events and making these speeches and kind of making a change in other people's lives, which he still will be able to do, just probably not on this scale.
Exactly, and it'll be different. And I think anytime that, you know, if something is tough, anytime you're leaving something, if you're moving to another city or starting a new job, even if you had a bad job, you remember the good things as you're leaving. I feel like those memories start to stick out. So it's a huge change for both
it really
of them.
was. But they looked fabulous on this farewell tour.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
They were so color coordinated. Meghan looked incredible.
Yeah.
Hair, makeup, shoes, smiles.
Oh, she never looked better.
No. And especially like the photos of them smiling at each other,
the one
looking
in the
at
rain.
the crowds, the one in the rain. And HuffPost actually spoke to that photographer, Samir Hussein, who took the photo. He's been photographing the royals for 12 years. He said that's the best photo he's ever taken.
Nice. And
And he really thought that the rain and the umbrella were going to hinder, you know, his pictures, which you would think. But I mean, that was just a photo for the ages.
Oh, it really was.
Yeah.
It is like a history-making photo.
It is a movie star moment for the movie stars.
For the movie stars.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite moments in between all the glitz and glamour, I think one of yours too, was when this schoolboy stole the show. Take a look.
She really is beautiful, isn't it? I'd have to speak the truth there.
I mean, he's not wrong. She is beautiful.
He's not. She is beautiful. And that was just such a sweet moment. And getting to see Meghan laugh so hard in the school. I mean, that guy later did apologize to Prince Harry for cuddling his wife, which just giving her a hug.
Yeah.
But it was just such a cute moment all the way around, and these kids were so surprised that Meghan was visiting them, which I cannot imagine going to school and then getting a photo with the Duchess. I would be like, no one told me to do my hair.
Right, yes.
But it was
a little warning, please.
Right, exactly. It was such a sweet engagement, and she visited classrooms and she gave a speech herself, encouraging men and women to make every day feel like International Women's Day, and to, you know, for men to protect and value the women in their lives. So Meghan is just, Britain's gonna miss her.
I was gonna say, like, after this, like, I think everybody's gonna miss them.
Right.
I mean, you know, we're so used to seeing them doing these events and, you know, like we said, changing people's lives on a daily basis. And now, you know, now that they have to focus on themselves and change their own lives.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I believe we'll see them back in the UK with the royal family again for Trooping the Colour in the summer. Until then, they don't have anything on the docket with their private or public engagements. All of that, I'm sure we will find out after March 31st when their royal duties end.
Eek, oh my God. Can't wait for that. Okay, so I want to bring in our friend and lifestyle etiquette expert, Elaine Swann, to help us break down Harry and Meghan's trip to the UK, including that very uncomfortable reunion. Elaine, it's so good to see you.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. So, of course, just by looking at Harry's body language, during that reunion at the Commonwealth Service, what do you think was going through his mind, and what did you notice?
You know, for me, it seemed as though Harry went to his go-to spot, in my opinion, which is kind of protective of Meghan. It seems as though, you know, his body language was as if he wanted to make sure he was protecting his wife. Obviously, they've been through some things, and he's been there to support her. And so he was definitely there to, you know, do his duty. But at the same time, it seemed as though he was really kind of looking out for her and making sure he was in that protector mode, which I love.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and how do you think Meghan handled the interaction with Prince William and Kate Middleton?
You know, there was just that little moment there where it seemed as though it almost seemed as though she expected a bigger greeting from them. It seemed like she moved forward just a little bit, as if they were going to kind of, you know, maybe engaged a little bit. And then when it wasn't reciprocated, she retreated back. And so that would seem to be a little bit disappointing. But in my opinion, I think Meghan recovered quite well after that.
Oh, yeah, she definitely did. You could see that she still kept the smile on her face and was very poised and was like, all right, I got this. I can handle this, even though that was very embarrassing.
Oh, I know. Do you think that Kate and William should have handled the situation better?
I think in this instance they did, because from what reports are saying, if this is true, that initially they were supposed to walk in, you know, fall in line behind with the entourage, with the Queen's entourage, but they opted to go ahead and be seated with them at first. And so if this is true, then I think William and Kate really did a great job, because they, you know, had if that's the case, they had every right to go ahead and come in with a processional. But the fact that they decided to be seated, you know, with the, you know, as kind of the last hurrah for the Fab Four was really nice. And so hopefully that's true. I'm hoping that that's what's true, and that's how they handled it. And if so, then that's great. I think William and Kate, they were probably trying to find that balance between, you know, still representing the Queen and doing their duties, but at the same time, you know, caring for his brother and their wife, most especially in this last instance.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the days before this service. And, you know, Harry and Meghan stepped out for a lot of engagements. And it seemed that Meghan, at least to me, was the most comfortable she's ever looked attending these events. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree. I think what we saw was an absolute freeness. It's you know, of course, there are a lot of memes that were going around on social media and so forth. And I had so much fun watching them. But I do see that. I think, you know, whenever we get to the point to where maybe there's just a lot of pressure that's taken off of our lives and that stress that's there, I think this is what we're seeing. We're seeing Meghan, you know, this is kind of when they were courting and when they were dating. We're kind of back to seeing that couple in them before. And I always say, I really believe they are really a perfect match. And I think when Harry found Meghan, he found someone that was really going to help him thrive and grow in his own space, in his own mindset, and who he is as a person. So we saw that sparkle. What is it? The Markle sparkle.
That's Markle sparkle.
I think we're seeing that Markle sparkle again.
Yes, she's like freedom.
Oh my gosh, I know. And like you said, it really did. Their PDA. They've always been known for their PDA. And do you think that continued throughout this tour and the photos that we saw of them?
I think so. You know, I noticed that, you know, when they were yes, we definitely saw that beforehand, for sure. The PDA, they were definitely sharing, you know, showing their love for one another. And, you know, they're in a really, really great place. I really think they are. This decision, obviously, you know, when we saw them in the events leading up to this, I think that is the Meghan and Harry that we are going to continue to see as they move on into this new stage of their lives.
Yeah, definitely. Did you notice at any point, did Harry ever seem uneasy at any of these engagements? We did see him get choked up at one of the engagements, you know, talking about, you know, his time with, you know, the military and, you know, giving back to people. But was there any moment for you where you were like, maybe he regrets his decision?
You know, I think he's probably a little bit melancholy about it. I think definitely his military service is something that's near and dear to his heart. And then because of the fact that he was groomed by his mother, to serve people. There's a lot of things that he will not be doing on behalf of the monarchy in terms of serving, and that might be an area that could be of just, not necessarily regret, but just a little. He's probably feeling a little bit solemn about it. I mean, this is how he was groomed. He was brought up to serve, and there are going to be some instances where he won't be doing this anymore, at least not in an official capacity, and that has to be, for any human being, a bit challenging to have to part ways with it and move on into a different direction. And so I think that's probably what we're seeing here.
Definitely. Did we see Meghan break any royal protocol at any of these engagements? I know a lot of people were talking about that she wore a red lipstick, which is something that the royals don't usually do. So is this kind of like her taking another bold statement one last time?
Yeah, I think so. With the royals, there's so many things there's so many rules that are unspoken, but as part of the royal family, many of them follow these unspoken rules, but they're not necessarily they're unspoken. And so with that, I think part of Meghan's freedom, her freedom walk that she's on, she thought, you know what, let me go ahead and add a little bit of red, and so forth. So I think that's what we're seeing. And this couple is going to do quite well. I do believe they're going to do well. I'm so excited about everything that's going to come from them, because they now have the freedom to really move in a space that's meaningful to the both of them without those unspoken rules that they have to abide by.
Yeah, no more royal restrictions.
Right.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do next.
It will be.
Yes.
We can't wait for that.
Well, Elaine, thank you so much. It's always so wonderful speaking with you. Really appreciate it. Thank you. So for much more on Elaine's classes, make sure to head on over to swanschoolofprotocol.com. All right, so now it is time to spill the royal tea. Now, will this royal rift come to an end, and where does the Queen stand? So, Carly, do we ever think that we will see William and Harry be best buds again?
I think we will. I mean, we're all rooting for them. I feel like this is a movie, and we're like, the happy ending's coming.
Yes.
They've been through so much. I think this goes beyond the rift now of William and Harry and the tensions that they had when he married Meghan. This is, you stepped back from the family and your royal duties. I feel like this made it even deeper.
Yeah.
But they're brothers, and as Tom Bradby, a journalist who filmed the documentary with Harry, said, they do want to put it behind them. Their family, they're basically running a family business. This is really tough, but it might take a few years.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to see them reunite.
We're going to see.
We have to.
Totally. In this week's issue of Us Weekly, we do have some reporting that, after what happened, Harry's really in no rush to reconcile, which understandable.
Yeah.
But eventually, I think down the line, we heard that he misses William, he misses Kate, he misses having that friendship and that relationship with his family. But after that icy reunion, I don't think we're going to see the Fab Four together anytime soon.
Not anytime soon. But when William becomes king, no one will understand the position that he's in better than his brother. And Diana always, hoped that William and Harry would have each other to lean on. And I think any family goes through these disagreements, maybe not on such a global scale, but they're definitely going to need each other in the future.
Definitely. And what do we think the Queen is thinking? Because she invited them to Sunday service while they were out there.
Yes.
I mean, maybe she still has Harry's back, it seems like.
Yes, privately she is upset, but she understands because she went through this with her sister, where the Queen did not want to be queen. She did not like all of the public attention, and her sister Margaret was like, I'm made for this. But Margaret always suffered as the spare to the heir. She was second in line. She didn't have a role. So I think Queen Elizabeth really understands that if Harry isn't going to be king, he does need to do something and wants to do something with his life that's different. And her going to church with Harry and Meghan is sort of the biggest public sign of solidarity that she can give us, other than wearing jewelry.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it was really wonderful to see them reuniting.
It was.
Yeah.
And even in at the church, she curtsied to Prince Charles and Duchess Camilla, so maybe everything is okay between them.
Right.
So I don't know.
Right.
So much to unravel.
Yeah, it seems more understanding between everyone else, but there's no one you can get mad at like a sibling, speaking from experience.
Totally. Same. So now that Harry and Meghan, we believe are back in Canada. We don't know exactly where they are.
Yes, we have not seen any paparazzi photos yet.
Right.
And they're really, they're taking the next few weeks to regroup before their royal duties end. And they said on their website, Sussex Royal, which will likely have to change because
Sussex.
Right, because they can't use royal now.
Yeah.
But they said that they're so excited to share details of what's coming next. And I really can't wait to see what they do.
Me too.
What will the next event be? They did have dinner with A-Rod and J-Lo. He talked about signing an NDA.
He was like, Jimmy Fallon was like, did you have dinner with them? He's like, I signed an NDA. So it's like, yes, that you did.
Yes, you definitely did.
I signed an NDA.
Oh my God. So that means you did. That's all.
Non-disclosure.
Yeah, all right. I'll take that as you did.
But I mean, will we see a collaboration there? Maybe something for climate change?
Yeah.
Who knows?
The world is theirs.
Yeah.
But we have reporting that, while they're in Vancouver, Meghan likes to take Archie for walks in the woods. They like to hang out with some locals, and the smile on her face is genuinely real. Like, I mean, you could tell. She is.
They're both so happy. And we'll see about that reported move to LA and if they will be in Malibu in a few months.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I have to go to Malibu.
Oh my God.
If they're there.
100%.
Yeah, we both need to be sent there. Yeah.
Taking Royally Us on the road. All right, so let's move on to our royal history moment of the week. Kate and William made history when they toured Ireland for the very first time, and we learned that William has a little secret talent. Take a look. Who knew William could juggle?
Oh my gosh, he can juggle it all. And someone said there's definitely a metaphor in there because he can juggle 3 balls, not 4, so maybe 3 children, but there's not a 4th.
Yes, everybody's got to look into everything.
We're going to read into, every single thing. But we really saw such a fun side of William and Kate. And we've seen Meghan and Harry are so fun on these engagements. They have really elevated the Cambridge's game. But yeah, they met up with circus people. They were drinking Guinnesses at a bar.
Yeah.
They did this sport called hurling, not to be confused with curling. It sort of looks like cricket. I wish I could explain it better. But it gave us so many great moments.
So many great photos.
Yeah.
I feel like they're very competitive.
It definitely seems like it.
Yes.
And Kate can beat William in tennis. It looked like she really owned him in hurling, from what I could tell. But obviously he can juggle. We don't know if Kate can.
Right.
Hopefully we'll see that in the future.
I hope so. She's very sporty.
She's definitely very sporty.
I kind of love this. And, they did make history. They did a lot of other events as well. We talked about it last week, and, she was dressed head to toe in green and, looked fantastic. So, it was interesting timing because they were in Ireland as Harry and Meghan were back in the UK.
Right.
So.
Whether that was intentional or not, we'll probably never know. But wow, we can read into it forever.
And we will.
Yeah, but it was really important that they were in Ireland just because of Brexit tensions, and even Kensington Palace said this is a tour to show how much we really love the Irish people and Ireland, and that's why this was so people focused. It was really a lot of meeting volunteers, meeting community workers, in addition to a few politicians. But it was such a tour of goodwill.
It was fabulous, and we got some great photos out of it.
Yes, I'll be wearing green for the next 3 weeks at least.
Totally. All right, before we wrap up, we have to check in on the royal kiddos in Pint-Sized Palace. And while the kids have been laying a bit low,
they have.
Kate has been busy meeting with children and continuing her mission to bring awareness to mental health. Now, she spoke out in a rare speech, and this was actually hours after the awkward reunion.
Right. It was a very quick outfit change for her. But this was a really big moment, like you said, because Kate rarely gives speeches. And this was a solo reception and dinner that she hosted at Buckingham Palace. And it's for one of her favorite charities and one of her earliest charities called Place to Be, which focuses now, we know that she's really interested in the well-being of children and mental health. And this was one of the first charities that actually helped her realize she was so passionate about it.
That's awesome.
Just they support adults and helping care for kids at school. And that's everything Kate is about.
Awesome. We love it. All right, well, Carly, thank you so much as always. And for much more on the royals, make sure to head on over to usmagazine.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will see you guys next week.
Bye.